everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shalini, and I make videos about technology, data science, professional development advice, and other videos about my experience in tech and what I've learned. Definitely check out some of my other videos and subscribe if you're interested in learning more. But first, let's talk about online conferences. So online conferences have been popping up more and more because of the pandemic. But even before that, they were starting to become more popular because of the larger audience and more opportunities that virtual conferences can bring. Both online and in-person conferences have the same key aspects of networking and learning, but the way this happens for both of them are quite different. With online conferences, even though you might not be sitting in a hotel ballroom or convention center surrounded by others, there is still a lot that you can gain from it with the right attitude and the right planning. As someone who has been to both in-person conferences and online conferences, here are some of my top tips to make the most of your online conference experience and how to be productive during the online conference. Let's go. Number 1, explore the website or tool that is being used for the conference. So the virtual conference will be held through some website or platform, which varies from conference to conference, but I have found it helpful to explore that platform once I get access to it. Just playing around in the conference hub is very useful. Conferences have many different sessions and events, and making sure you know how to access all of these in this initial stage is really important to make sure that you don't miss out on anything. You don't want to miss out on something just because you weren't aware of a certain feature of the platform or a hidden sidebar somewhere. Exploring the website or tool really helps you get familiar with the conference, similar to how there's maps of the convention center and different booth layouts to see where you want to go in an in-person conference. Number 2, create a schedule. Based on how many hours or days the conference is, you want to make sure to plan out what you're going to be doing for that time period. With work and school and relaxing and all these other things meshed in with staying at home, it can be hard to set aside time for other things. However, time blocking and creating specific pockets of time when you will be focusing on the conference will be extremely helpful. It is a really good idea to set aside time for the conference, plan out what you're going to do during these time pockets, and which sessions you want to attend. Once you have this plan and you've made your schedule and you've set aside time for the conference, then once you log in, everything and the whole conference just becomes so much more easier to handle. Because so many different aspects of our life are mixed with staying at home, the time you set aside for the conference doesn't have to be a huge window of time. It can be multiple different sections throughout the day. Just make sure you set aside this time ahead of the conference. That way you will be prepared. Number 3, reduce distractions as much as possible. So one of the things about online conferences is that you might be attending the conference, but the people you're living with may not be, which can cause a lot of distractions. I like to reduce any external distractions as much as possible. Try finding a quiet place where you can focus fully on the conference. Turn off social media or other notifications you might get while you're in the sessions. Tell people that you'll be at the conference at specific times, that way they won't bother you during those times. Close any tabs or windows that you have open on your computer that aren't related to the conference. Before you enter the conference platform, make sure you have your headphones, your laptop charger, and a notepad next to you. That way, when you need them later, you don't have to run out and get them. These are just some potential distractions that I've experienced in the past, but minimizing any distraction that you think might come up will be super helpful for staying focused on the conference. Number 4, engage with people. This is one of the aspects of a conference that is really different when you compare an in-person conference versus an online conference. Engaging with people is a key part of the conference in order to connect with peers, gain mentors, and make connections and friends. While you may not be able to physically grab coffee with the people that you're meeting, you can still send them an email and connect with them on LinkedIn and virtually meet up with them. Do a Zoom coffee chat with them. This is a great way to connect with the people that you're meeting and mimic something that you would probably do in person as well. Another way to engage with people more and make you feel like you're actually at the conference is to keep your video on and engage and talk in the chat box. Based on what platform the conference is hosted on, there might be an option to put your video on if there aren't too many other people, and usually there's also an option to chat with others. There are a lot of benefits to both of these. Being on video keeps you accountable for actually listening to the content and engaging with it instead of having your video off and being on your phone and doing something else. Talking in the chat also introduces you to a lot of other members of the conference, and in the chat you can ask questions, start discussions, and even connect with people. Overall, you really just want to engage with people. Every single person brings something different to the conference, and getting to know each person is really, really great. Number 5, take notes. So this depends on your personal preference for how you gain and retain information, but I think taking notes is a really great option. Taking notes helps you understand and retain the information that you're gaining from the conference, but it will also help you keep your attention focused on the conference instead of other distractions that might come up. Some conference sessions may or may not be recorded, so taking notes is a really good way to keep track of your learning in case you can't access that content again in the future. Number 6. Treat an online conference like an in-person conference. So this tip touches on a lot of other points I've made so far, but I think it's the most important tip and it really touches on your attitude. In a lot of ways, an online conference is seen as something that isn't as good compared to a regular in-person conference. If you go in with this attitude, you automatically won't get as much as you can from the online conference. You have to treat the online conference like you're going to an in-person conference and act accordingly too. Would you be on social media for fun during in-person workshops or talks? Would you be playing games during an in-person conference session? Would you be in your PJs on your bed if you were attending a conference workshop? The answer to all of these is no, probably not. Most likely you would be actively listening to different talks and workshops, taking notes and actively engaging by asking questions, networking and connecting with people, maybe posting Twitter or social media updates about the conference, and probably dressed professionally too. It is very easy to get distracted and treat an online conference as flexible and not that big of a deal compared to an in-person conference. I know from experience. The best thing you can do is act like it's an in-person conference, just in a different location. Number 7, have a short blurb written about yourself. So this tip I found super helpful for networking in smaller sessions and talks. If you're attending a specific workshop or session, you are probably interested in that topic and want to learn more. The other people attending are probably interested in it too, and there is a great opportunity for networking and connecting with them. In my experience, there's usually a chat for a specific session on the actual conference platform. Before the actual conference, write up a short blurb about yourself, what you're interested in, and include your email and LinkedIn on there. That way, during the actual conference, during the sessions that you're going to, you can post that blurb in the chat section. The blurb shouldn't be too long. I would say 3 to 5 sentences max. You don't want to be writing a personal statement essay here. Just a really short blurb so people can get the general idea of who you are and what you're interested in, and that way they can connect and get to know you further. These are the people that you can talk to after the conference, and you can online coffee chat with them. Number 8, give yourself breaks. So at an in-person conference, you would be walking around from session to session, doing a lot of physical activity, standing and waiting in lines, and holding bags and whatnot. Online conferences simplify this, but with everything happening for the conference on your computer, it can be very, very easy to just stay there and sit for hours at a time. I would recommend scheduling in some stretch breaks in between each of the conference sessions. Sitting and staring at a screen can be really tiring and can also get kind of boring. Having mini breaks in between can wake you up and make sure that you're refocused on the conference. Also related to this is scheduling in your meals. Now this sounds really trivial, but there is always some talk or some event or some session that's happening during the conference. When signing up for them, it can be very easy to just fill your schedule with as many things as possible. Just make sure you leave some time for you to grab breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks. With in-person conferences, there are coffee bars and snacks in the hallway and scheduled time for the different meals of the day. But now with online conferences, this is up to you to schedule and plan out. In general, you just want to plan out your breaks. They will help you in order to keep you motivated and focused. And number 9, set up some time after the conference. So after the conference, you will need some time to decompress and really absorb all of the learnings and information that you gained during the conference. You also want to leave time to connect with people. Set up coffee chats online with people that you've met and create those connections. Also make some time to review and re-watch some of the conference sessions. Some sessions will be recorded, so if you want to review them, right after the conference ends is your best chance while you're still in that conference mode and before you forget and move on with other things. The few days after the conference are the best time to review any notes that you took and make sure that you absorbed all the information from the conference. So those were my top 9 tips to be more productive at online conferences. Conferences are really great events to learn more and network with people, so if you ever have the chance to go to a conference, I highly recommend it. Make sure to follow these tips to get the most out of your online conference experience. For more tips and advice videos, make sure to check out my channel and some of the other videos I've made and subscribe. I make videos about tech, my life in tech, data science, and different professional and personal development advice. And I made a new series highlighting different women in tech. So make sure to check all of those out and subscribe down below. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!